today we're going to be making egg chops, which is basically egg filled inside a potato chop. So here what you see is potatoes that have been boiled and ground up in a meat grinder. You don't necessarily have to grind it up like this. You can also mash up the potatoes instead. But this is what we have here, and this is the main ingredient, as you can see. We'll add a teaspoon of salt to that, and we'll also add a teaspoon of red chili powder. Add a little more if you prefer spicy, or add less if you want it less spicy. Here you can see we have some boiled eggs that we've basically split or cut into two, and we'll be using these as well as the potatoes to make this recipe. So if you're a vegetarian, this recipe is really good. It's simple, easy, and also delicious. So next what you want to add is here we have a mix of tomatoes with some coriander leaves. We'll add half a teaspoon of salt to there. Also add half a teaspoon of chili powder. You can add less or more depending on how spicy you like it, and half a teaspoon of citric powder to there as well. Here you can see we're just mixing everything up by hand. There's really no special way to doing this. Just get in there with your hands and just try and mix the salt and chilies as best as you can. And you'll keep doing this for at least about a couple minutes, and we'll show you what you should end up with with this here. So you'll take the mashed potatoes and you'll make them into tiny little balls like this. We've already made a couple here, as you can see. And the way you make them is you'll make them into a flat patty sort of, and you'll add some of this mixture we put in there, as well as half an egg. Put another one on top, squeeze, and try to shape that into a tiny bowl, which will eventually get fried. So that's what it should look like once this is now ready to fry, but this is what it should look like. So we'll do this for the rest of them, and then we'll show you how it looks when we're frying them up. So we're just making the paste on what we will cover the egg chops with before we fry. So here we've added a tablespoon of or 2 tablespoons of white flour, 1 egg with the yolk. And we'll also add sprinkle on some seasoning salt. You can use regular salt if you want, either one's okay. Whisk it up. So add a little bit of water to the mix and just keep whisking. Don't add too much water, just a little bit. Keep doing this for a couple minutes until you have a thick consistent paste to work with. And you may need to make more or less depending on how many egg chops you're hoping to make. So this looks fairly good, and this is what we'll use to cover our egg chops in, and we'll show you how to do that here. So now we're ready to fry. You can see we've just taken a full egg chop here and covered it entirely in that paste, and we'll dip it here into the oil, which would be hot beforehand. You don't want to just put this into cold oil. And we'll keep adding more and more. This is what it should look like when it's almost ready to serve. So we'll let this fry just for a little bit more, and then we will remove it and I'll show you how it looks finally. So here's what we have. It's ready to serve now, and you can have this alone. You don't really have to serve it with anything else on the side, but Maybe some ketchup on the side will go well, but this is what it looks like. Try the recipe out and let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We'll see you in the next one.